Morning.
We're still waiting on a few people, but we'll go ahead and get started. I'm so happy to see all of you today. And while we had to push from our previous groundbreaking event date due to the threat of storms, the future, like the sun today, is bright here at your Dallas Zoo. We gather today to celebrate the upcoming start of construction on a new guest parking garage for the zoo. I'd like to recognize some special guests joining us today, many of whom you will hear from this morning. Dallas Mayor Pro Tem Tanel Atkins, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem and our council person Carolyn King Arnold will be here shortly. Park Board President Arun Agarwal, Park Board Member Harrison Blair, Director of the Dallas Park and Recreation Department, John Jenkins, Dr. Jenkins, Assistant Director at the Park Department, Ryan O'Connor, and all of our colleagues from the Park Department. Our Board Chair for the Zoo, Don Moore, our partners on this project, Good Fulton and Farrell Architects, CLR Design, and Rogers O'Brien Construction. Friend of the zoo and the man who knows everybody, Paul Dyer, he's here somewhere. Michael Morris from the North Central Texas Council of Governments. And are there any elected officials or park board members that I've missed? If so, please stand. I want to begin by expressing my sincerest gratitude to everyone who has been involved in making this park garage project a reality. As most of you know, I have been at the helm here at Dallas Zoo for 5 months, so the planning on this project predates me by years. But I've already seen during my first busy spring and summer season how critical it is to add to the parking capacity for the park. Getting here took hard work from our passionate team at the zoo, working with talented planning, design, and architect partners, collaborating with colleagues at the city and within the park department, and relying on ongoing support from the zoo's board of directors. Each and every one of you has played a crucial role in bringing us to this pivotal moment. I truly appreciate the work everyone has done, and I look forward to the work that's still ahead as we bring this project to life. The construction of this garage marks a significant milestone for Dallas Zoo. Not only will it provide much needed parking for our guests, but it also represents our commitment to enhancing the overall experience for visitors to the zoo and our soon-to-be neighbors, Southern Gateway Park. We are taking an overflow surface parking lot and turning it into a 4-story structure with nearly 600 parking spots that comes with key pedestrian connect points from the garage to the DART station, across Clarendon to the zoo, along Ewing Avenue, and eventually up to Southern Gateway Park. By alleviating congestion, especially on busy days, and improving accessibility, this garage will make it easier for families to enjoy a day of adventure and discovery. With this new parking structure, we will be better equipped to welcome even more guests, share our message of conservation, inspire future generations, and make a positive impact for the world around us. As we break ground here today, we commemorate this, the first project of a multi-phased master plan that will guide us through the next several decades as we continue to build a brighter future for Dallas Zoo. There's so much progress ahead and so many exciting changes. Looking out at all of you today, I can see that parks in general are a priority for the city of Dallas. And with the leadership we have in place, it's clear that our parks are in good hands. And with that, I have the pleasure of welcoming one of those leaders to the podium. Arun Agarwal, the president of the Dallas Park and Recreation Board, has spent the last several years leading with purpose as the head of the Park Board and in his recent role as leader of the Community Bond Task Force Committee for the successful 2024 Capital Bond Program. Let's hear it for Arun and welcome him to the stage.
Good morning.
Good morning. Lisa, that was too kind of an introduction. They say, it takes a village. And you said you have been here for 5 months, but trust me, she has not missed a heartbeat.
That's right.
Her and Sean and Chris and the entire team. Oh my God, I think Zoo is just doing amazing things every day. And I think this is just a very small step into something wonderful which is about to happen in the Dallas Zoo, making it one of the best zoos in the country. So I'm so delighted to be here today. What you're seeing today is, you say, I think, how steps take. 2019 Dallas Parks did a master plan of our parks, and zoo was part of it. And what you are seeing today is part of that master plan being initiated. And it takes a day or two, and it is today what we are getting is part of the last bond money, which we are going to use along with a partnership with other bodies to make this amazing investment happen in this part of the city with the zoo. Dallas Zoo, they have more than 400 parks and 100 recreation centers, the aquatic center, the largest summer programs in the city, bigger than YMCA. And all of that happens because of our public-private partnerships. And the partnerships, I think, and I can proudly say, Zoo is one of the best partnerships, Dallas Parks and Recreations. We have really, really amazing partners. They go above and beyond. I had to share a story. I think when the bond process started, we had our board meeting here in the Dallas Zoo, and they served us lunch. I didn't know that lunch is going to cost us $30 million. but they made such a good pitch that the board instantly said we need to support that in the bond. And of course, many more steps after that. Leaders like Luis, who is here, Joan, Alan, Bill, every day, I think, they were so passionate. It was as if this was their private money, every day pitching that what do we do more? They entangled the $5 million check from Mary Cook, that if you don't do it, that check is gone. I said, oh my God, I think you are using everything, carrot and stick, both of it. But we're glad we made it happen. Lisa talked about bond, and parks are important to the city, and that shows in what our citizens approved. $345 million in the Dallas Parks and Recreation commitment for the next bond. And many people don't know that this is the single largest bond commitment in any city, anywhere in the USA, ever in the history of parks. So really, I'm proud of what accomplished. And one reason that happens is my partner John Jenkins, our director. So yes. Let's see. I think the challenges came. We can keep on, putting new money, and what do we do with the maintenance? He convinced council with his maintenance plan that yes, as we invest in it, we will make sure, how we are sustainable, and I keep on. And that was one of the key factors, John, which, we had council supporting us. So thank you for your leadership. With that, I think, all I can say, this is not only recreation, it's not only education, it's an economic development. Just the zoo brings $300 million of economic development to the city, and overall parks, around 5-year-old study said we bring $700 million into the economy of Dallas, but I can clearly say it's more than $1 billion which we are bringing into the economy. So thank you again all for being here. Can't wait to see this and other things happening to the parks. And I was with Mayor Parker of Fort Worth the other day, and casually, without realizing Fort Worth Zoo, I said, Dallas Zoo, happening is going to be the best zoo in the Texas. She said, really? I said, yes. And then I realized, oh my God, I'm challenging Fort Worth Zoo, but Lisa, we have to make that happen. Don, we have to make that happen.
You're all right.
Now you have to prove me right. So thank you again all for being here, and appreciate it, and can't wait for the next steps. And with that, let me introduce someone, who is not only our fearless leader, who was our mayor pro tem. He didn't want to do it, but yesterday again, overwhelming me, he was elected as mayor pro tem, a fearless leader who talks less, but he gets things done. My friend and my leader, Mayor pro tem Tanel Atkins.
Well, thank you, Ruth. You're very kind. First, let's get honored to God. It's a blessing to be here. First, I want to say, you got some great leaders here, like Paul Dyer. Is Paul Dyer, you stand up, Paul? Please stand. Also, what is John Warren at? John Warren, Mrs. Warren. Send to Alan. Both of y'all stand. Alan Warren and John Warren, y'all both stand up. Give a hand. And also, John Jenkins, you got to stand up because you're in a court board, but best of all, what about the city staff? With all the city staff who came there, please stand up. City staff. Thank you. But the most important people in this room is the taxpayer who went to the poll and vote. Will you stand up? The taxpayer and the resident who made this $30 million. Without you, it never would have happened. So remember that. The resident, the city staff, and it's great to be here. I heard Fort Worth Zoo. I saw it on the TV, how great they are. We're not comparisons to Fort Worth Zoo or the San Diego Zoo. We compare the best zoo in the world. And that's a comparison we want. We want to be number one. We want to be the best for our resident, not second best, the best. Economic impact, we always talk about economic impact, how to do it for the city of Dallas. More money you spend at the zoo, more people come to the zoo, hotel stay, more sale tax, more people who live around this area, economic opportunity, the best way you lower your property tax, and more basic service you can get, like streets, the parks, the trail, and public safety. This is an economic engine. And I've been trying economic development over the last decade, and the first thing I said, we in economic development, we pay the bill. We are the engine, we pay the bill. I also want to thank Alan Warren, the Economic Development Corporation. I want to pass the baton to you, so you can start paying the bill. Your corporation to get these businesses here, so we can put another $30 million into this zoo. But also I want to thank my colleague, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem Carolyn King on. Give her a hand. And one thing that she always talk about the zoo, before we did a private partnership, this is her neighborhood. The community have to know this is part of their community. The community need to know that whatever happened here, they need to be part of this great economic engine, the project. This project is gonna lift this neighborhood up. You look at Clyde Warren Park, you look at Uptown, this is the new Clyde Warren Park. But you have an anchor that's sitting here just ready to birth. And it cannot birth if you do not pay close attention around this neighborhood. Because this neighborhood is one to make sure this zoo grows. If the neighborhood don't grow in the right direction, this zoo is not going to grow in the right direction. And many donors who donate money to the zoo, and more people come to the zoo, this is going to fail. I hear Arun said maybe $1 billion with the new sales tax, property tax. It may be more. But I challenge the zoo, the new, Miss New of the zoo, to bring a new neighborhood, new idea, new concept, that we are going to be the newest, not the oldest, but the newest transformed zoo that everybody's going to copy. What did they do in Dallas? And what was the new thing that helped in Dallas? And the best thing that helped in Dallas, we brought someone by the name of New. And Miss New, you stand up and give her a hand of applause. And I know we do not have all the boards here, the port board official here. I see Harold Blair here, and we got one more here. Stand up. Okay. So we do understand that in closing, this is a generation. It will take generation to get this done. I might not be living in a generation, but my grandkids, my great granddaughter, because I just had one, to see the best of the best. And we think about in 1888. It's amazing. 1888 is when the zoo first started, and people didn't know they had 2 deers in a mountain lion. 2 deers in a mountain lion. I don't know how we make. They got all these elephants and giraffes and everything came here, but you just imagine 3 animals started this zoo. And today you look at amazing, we got 1,000 of creatures around the zoo today. It's a history. Since the beginning of the partnership, the Dallas City Council support this venture. And I want to say it in closing that our Deputy Mayor Pro Tem Carolyn King Arnold, I appreciate serving with you. I appreciate your passion. I appreciate the community that you bring to the zoo, in the neighborhood, in the economic opportunity, and everything you do. I'm 100% behind you, because you are the leader in District 4, and you are the leader to transition to the next direction. With that, without further ado, my Deputy Mayor Pro Tem, Carolyn King Arnold.
Thank you so much again for those kind words. I did vote for you. You'll catch that by the time you get back to 1500 Marilla. But indeed, it's an honor to be here, and I'm glad we have such a great day today. And just so we can establish more protocol, it's always good to see individuals to support the zoo, neighbors, supporters, donors. But I always have to make sure that I give the shout out to our park board members. You want to give a shout out to Mr. JR. I think he's trying to be my ride or die, Harrison. Harrison Blair is my park board member. And of course, Mr. CW, I know you have that long history and long commitment to the zoo. Give it up to him. Am I looking over any more any board members from the park board? All right, so we have to give respect to what I like to refer to as the Reverend Dr. John Jenkins. Because he has to do a whole lot of praying and fighting and healing to try to make sure that we keep focused on our parks, but particularly the growth of the parks and the zoo in particular for District 4. For the park board members, zoo board members, I don't know all of you, so if you would just let me know where you are by waving. I don't know if good to see you there. I know Ms. Joan Wan is here and Alan here. Those are also my ride or dies. But to Ms. New, you have a lot to do at the zoo. You have more to do at the zoo. And so as we talk about the zoo, and Mayor Pro Tem mentioned the fact that this is the neighborhood that I represent, and I've been very blessed and fortunate to be in the neighborhood. But for those of you who don't know the history of the zoo in my family, the zoo is one of those affordable daycare centers, schools that you can take your kids to. And my children now, they're grown. Somewhere, they sometimes say, I forget how old they are, but they're somewhere between the 40s and the 30s, 35s. I had to bring them to the zoo because that was the most affordable place you could take them. It was an educational arena. Plus, I got to live my youth through them, seeing all the wonderful, at that time, the flamingos. I'm just always just amazed. But it was so much going on here, so that it was a great lesson for us and a great way to be able to satisfy the anxiety and the joy that the children had just being out of school, but also making sure they had somewhere to go so they wouldn't worry me all day long. But most parents will have that opportunity as we begin to grow the zoo to come, and it's a tradition. And so it's a staple in our community, and we're glad to have you here. But let me just also comment on the economic engine component. We want to make sure, Ms. New, as we move forward, that the message is out, that it is an economic engine. It can stimulate. It's a catalyst. And so as we talk about branching out with our schools, giving internships to our not only high schools, but elementary schools and middle schools. And I can tell you when we had the project, I believe it was AT&T, where we were able to select schools where we could take a few of the zoo family members out to the schools. I was so surprised. I had no fear, just to pet the snake. And so what it told me was that this particular program gave light and maybe a new vision to some of these children who never knew they would have a passion or could have a passion in this particular industry. And so I see a lot of hope and potential in this community, but I'm going to stay on you about the outreach and the investment, not only in education, but in our neighborhood. And I know for those of you who don't know, we're going to be partnering with the zoo, with the 10th Street cultural aspect of that neighborhood. We have to have a place, because this is part of the 10th Street story, that we have a place so we can rest and invest in history, so that as the zoo members and travelers come in, they can connect the dots. And that's what's very important for me, that we connect the dots. So as we have the zoo, we have the gateway, we've got to continue the funding, but we've got to make sure that parents can bring their children here safe, and they're excited about being here, of course, always, and maybe they will stay here all day and not want to go anywhere else. But as I'm transitioned to introduce Harrison Blair, I want to thank all of you who continue to support us, but I have to just digress for 1 minute, one other story. Larry Hotchberg used to be he was my first Park Board member, and we participated in a zoo District 4 Zoo Day. And so he shared with me the fact, and I don't know how he ran into this young lady, I don't know if she worked in the building or what. She was a grown woman. This was her first time ever coming to the zoo because it was free. And I couldn't imagine that someone had not ever been to the zoo. So that was so rewarding for me to know that one person that we gave an opportunity to come with her children that day was transformational for her. And so we want to continue to be transformational in our outreach and our presence, but we want to make sure that everybody knows that there's more to do at the zoo, and we're going to continue to make sure, because we don't have that many places in District 4, in the southern sector. But I can thank, once again, Mr. Michael Morris for making sure that we have an infrastructure that will draw people to this location, whether you're walking, you're biking, or driving. And we already have a neighborhood that we really need to look out for, because I think some of those peacocks in that peacock community might try to come to the zoo. So with that being said, thank you so very much for being here this morning, and for me being able to represent. We have more to do, and I'm willing to work with you to make sure we're not just number one in Texas. We've got to be number one internationally. And I think we can do that. And so thank you. And so Mr. Arun, you're going to be bringing more money to the zoo. All right. Thank you so very much. I'm Carolyn Kamara, and I'm proud to represent District 4. Mr. Harrison Blair, come on up. He is my Park Board member. And I always like to rub it in on him so everybody knows he's also my former student at the wonderful, world-class Yvonne A. Townview Magnet Center. Here he is.
Deputy Mayor, thank you. Everything that needs to have been said has already been said by our Mayor Pro Tem and our Deputy Mayor Pro Tem. And I've been told by lots of great speakers that brevity is the spice of life. So I'll keep it brief in saying that we support the zoo. Arun, you've already heard that we have a new job. We have to bring more money to the zoo. And we're glad that the zoo has already added infrastructure that's going to help connect this community. And I'm honored to be a part of that. So thank y'all so much for the work you're doing. And my final thank you is, one, it looks like I'm on the phone with someone, so hang that up. I'll have to miss this part of it. But let me thank the park staff who made today happen. Let me also thank the zoo staff who sets up all these great events so that we can celebrate. And thank you to our park department director, John Jenkins. You are amazing. When you walk on water, they ask why you don't swim, but we see the work that you do, and we appreciate you. Mr. Winter, honored to serve with you. And Mr. President, thank you for the work you do. Thank y'all for letting us be a part of the work that y'all are doing to revitalize our great community. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. And now I introduce you to the chair of the board of the zoo, Ms. Dawn Moore.
Thank you, Harrison. What a special morning, surrounded and supported by our friends from the park board, from the department, from the city council, city staff, our team members from the zoo, and all of our friends here. Thank you. We all recognize the opportunity and the need here, and we all work together to make it happen. From my role as a Dallas Zoo Board member, I have had a front row seat to this master plan, moving from idea stage to conversation stage, to planning stage, to design stage. And now we are breaking ground on the first of the projects in our multi-phase plan, which will transform the zoo. Over this past year, as board chair, I've witnessed how the zoo's leadership team persevered in the face of incredible challenges and stayed focused on the promise of our future. And in Lisa, we found the absolute right person to take the CEO role and lead the zoo into the future. I, for one, could not be more proud that we are here and have arrived at this place today. And I stand on the shoulders of past board members. I am only at the right place at the right time to have the distinct honor of doing the fun part today as we move to don our hard hats, grab our shovels, and break ground on our new parking garage. I invite our special guests to please come to the left of the stage and let's don our hard hats and break ground. Thank you all. Come join us for a picture.
Get ready to 1, 2, 3, 4. All right.